Hi, everybody. Claudia here from Hugo Coffee Roasters. As you know, we are a coffee company located in Park City, Utah, whose mission is to support animal rescues around the country. And we do so via our week-long online fundraisers where we donate $2.50 for every item sold during the course of the week-long fundraiser. And today we're here with the lovely Ashley from Beyond the Fight Initiative in Florida. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Nice to see you. Now tell us all about Beyond the Fight initiative, how it began, how long it's been, your mission, your story, everything.
Okay, so Beyond the Fight Initiative has been a 501(c)(3) for a little over 2 years, 2.5 years. And the way that it started was I saw a plea on Facebook to help save some dogs from euthanasia. And they were going to be euthanized because they had been held as evidence in a animal cruelty court case. And then as soon as the previous owner had been sentenced, they were no longer needed as evidence, and they only have at most a few weeks to find some place to go, or else they're euthanized. And
And
so
these dogs, the dogs that were the subject of the plea on Facebook and that were evidence in the court case, were they dog fighting ring dogs?
they were, but they came with professional temperament testing that showed that they were good with other dogs, cats, kids, everything. Despite having this horrific past, they were still friendly and sweet and wanting love. And just because the dogs come from a dog fighting environment, it doesn't mean that they were actually fought. A lot of dogs that come from quote unquote dog fighting were just there. Like maybe they were chained up on the property, or they were used for breeding, or they weren't old enough, or fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But our mission focuses on adoptable dogs that comes from these type of environments. We, for obvious reasons, can't adopt out a dog that is human aggressive or just not able to be a family dog.
Right.
And so I was just a person at that time, and I reached out, and apparently to save these 4 or 5 dogs, all they needed is a week in boarding. That's it. Because other rescues had agreed to step up for them. And I thought, that's pretty easy. And so I donated the few $100s, and then got a message that they were on their way to rescues, like reputable rescues. And really, that's all it took, because these dogs aren't really shown on things like Adopt a Pet. They
Sure.
don't have someone fighting for them to get them out of the holding facility.
Right.
And a lot of times, if it's a county case, the county is very afraid of adopting them out for liability reasons. And so it's just easier for them to quietly euthanize them.
So
So
when,
as
when
I
you,
got more and more involved, I realized how much of a need this is, especially in the South. And a lot of, a lot of the country doesn't have a problem.
right. Yeah. So Ashley, I have a couple questions. Those dogs,
Okay.
those original dogs that you said were expertly temperament tested, who did that? Who did the temperament testing?
It was a certified canine behavioral consultant.
And was that on the part of you, on your part, or on the part of the holding facility that had them temperament tested?
The holding facility.
Okay, so you knew when you were confident that the dogs that were at risk there were suited for adoption and to go into families.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now that you have Beyond the Fight initiative that grew
Mhm.
from this experience of yours, what does that look like? How does Beyond the Fight initiative learn of animals in need under these circumstances, and what do you do in those cases?
Well, the last group of dogs that we got about 30 dogs, and we
Wow.
were contacted by a law enforcement agency that is called SLED, and it's from South Carolina, and it is a task force that only focuses on eliminating dog fighting. That is exclusively what they do in South Carolina. If that tells you how much of a problem we have down here, that the state has allocated all these resources to busting the dog fighters and stopping it.
Right.
And so they called and they had a group of 30 dogs. They were all chained up in a rural property and not in great conditions. And they didn't have access to clean water. Most didn't have access to reasonable shelter, but they were all really, really sweet. And some were scared. Most were scared. And there really wasn't time to temperament test them. And so we just accepted them all into rescue, and we were going to get them kind of calm down a little bit and form as much of a trusting relationship as we could, and then have them evaluated. Because evaluating them right off the chain is not a great idea.
Yeah. So when you say, so then you rescued them, did you rescue them into a foster network of yours? Or do you have a facility?
We had no fosters at that time.
Okay.
We were pretty new. And what I did is I reached out to various boarding facilities, commercial boarding facilities, and found places that would be willing to offer them a place to live until I could kind of get more permanent solutions worked out. And we made some really great partnerships during this case. People really stepped up to the plate.
And how long ago was that?
That was March of 2024 or May 2024.
Okay. So, and was that your second group of dogs? Was
It
the
was.
30?
It was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
our
what is
group was with South Carolina as well, but it was Horry County.
Okay. So now what does it look like? 2 years have passed. Now, does the system work the same? Meaning you get reached out to by law enforcement in various jurisdictions, and they say we have dogs from a dog fighting ring that need rescue. And then what happens then? Now, do you have a foster network that
we do? We have 2 foster families.
Woo! Yeah.
It's great.
It's a pretty heavy lift, honestly, right? I mean, fostering dogs under these circumstances, even if you have been assured that their temperament is appropriate for a home, whatever, with an animal or without an animal, or with children or without children, it's still an animal that lived under those circumstances and is going to take a good hunk of time to decompress and heal.
A long time. And then most of them have never had a family. They've never lived inside of a home. And so, no, they're not potty trained. They probably are going to be scared of things like the noises that the coffee pot makes and the ding of the microwave. And so these dogs have most likely never had anyone to care for them. And they don't know what a couch is. They don't know what dog toys are.
Or affection.
Or affection. And so it does take a little while for them to decompress. But I have to say that they come along a lot faster than one would expect.
Yeah, because
they're very driven by affection.
And they're very resilient. They're resilient animals.
Very resilient.
But it is, it's a remarkable. How many organizations do you think are out there like yours that focus particularly on helping dog fight ring surviving animals?
I know of one, and I believe they're either in South Carolina or North Carolina, and they're
Okay.
called Forgotten
Yeah.
Now Family. Forgotten Now
Mhm.
Family, I believe. And they're doing incredible work with dog fighting. Incredible work.
Yeah. It's
So
so it's
I'm
so in-
I'm
it's
glad
just so
that more and more rescues are stepping up.
sure. It's so interesting. Well, it's a niche that needs to be addressed, right? There's
Right.
lots of fosters now that focus on, thank God, lots of organizations focus on the elder or
Mhm.
the medically tough cases,
Right.
because those outlier situations are also niche and need to be addressed. But dogfighting
Right.
seems to be particularly regional, um,
Correct.
and and particularly like where we live in the mid mountain states, the issue is abandonment of dogs on reservations. So lots of
Oh,
rescues focus on grabbing on helping reservation dogs,
yeah,
because
I
they
can
get
see
they
that.
get dumped on the reservation. But that seems like a regional animal issue in our area, and you have
Right.
dog fighting in your area, and there's just as much a need for these niche needs as there are for the generalized animal rescue world of
Right.
unwanted animals of neglect, that kind of thing. So,
Correct.
how many animals do you have in your system at any given time?
Well, right now we have 8. We have 8
Mhm,
in our system, and 2
mhm.
are in foster.
Okay, so where are the other six? If two are in foster, what are the other six doing?
They are at our, boarding facility
Okay,
that, we rent kennels from,
yep.
and volunteers are with them every single day,
Mhm.
and they get walked and played with, and beds and blankets, and we do the best we can until they find forever homes, but
Mhm.
they're
And then
definitely loved.
do you keep up with your former rescues when they get adopted out and how they're doing in their new
Oh,
forever homes?
yes, absolutely. Um, I am really familiar with all of our dogs and their likes and their dislikes and things that help them. And so, especially when they're first going into their adoptive homes, I encourage the adopters to reach out because if
Yeah.
they're kind of stumbling with something, there's a good chance that I can help with it and tell them what's going on with the dog.
Sure. That's terrific. That's terrific. And
And
you've
I
only been
love
at this.
getting pictures.
Yeah, I bet. Do you post on Facebook? Do you post on social media like the stories of your animals in their forever homes and how happy they are?
Sometimes I do, as much as their adopters are comfortable with.
Sure, that makes sense. Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Now,
Um,
do you have issues with okay, I'm sure there are cases of dog ring where the person who was arrested for animal cruelty gets out or doesn't get convicted. Do you ever
right.
have situations where they try to find their dogs again?
Well, in that case, they can have their dogs back.
Oh,
Legally, we have to give them back.
stop it. For how long? For like, how long does that
If
last?
if they're not sentenced or they're not found guilty, they have the right to have their dogs back.
Oh my, has that ever happened to you?
No, no.
All right,
The
well,
thing,
listen, fingers crossed that never does, because that's terrible.
and I
Obviously,
can't
if they were
say what I
taken,
would do in that situation. Like,
yeah, I can't say what I would either. We have an organization, yeah, we have a woman here who started a sanctuary based on a horse that she saw being neglected.
oh,
And she watched this neglect, and she desperately tried to get the horse's owner to let her help the horse.
Mm-hmm.
adopt the horse, take the horse, help the horse in any way. And she eventually got him to agree to go to take the horse to a vet. She did. And she never gave him back. She just never gave the horse back. And the guy said, like, I'm going to sue. And she's like, go ahead, keep bringing it on. You're not getting this horse back. You're not getting this horse back.
And yeah, so it's crazy what law enforcement can do and what the parameters are. And recently I've been involved in a situation where someone just has too many dogs, isn't physically or financially able to care for them. And so I wouldn't say it's like on a hoarder's level, but it's just these dogs are not being taken care of. And trying to be helpful while also getting these dogs taken care of, it's such a tightrope.
Yes, I'm sure. Hold on, I have a cold and I'm coughing.
Oh no.
Okay, so now let's talk about the fundraiser, because I could chat because like I think I told you when we met, we've never had a partner with this niche of dog fighting, dog survival, rehabilitation, and rescue. So I'm just interested and fascinated by it, and I'm very thankful that there are people like you at Beyond the Fight Initiative doing this great work. But we still have to talk about the fundraiser. So the fundraiser began Monday morning, and it ends Sunday at midnight. And we donate $2.50 to Beyond the Fight Initiative for every item sold on the website during the course of the week. So the key for us, Ashley, is in the remaining 3.5 days, we got to get the word out to get your fan base and my fan base to buy. And if you don't like coffee, our coffee is fantastic, but if you don't like it, we have great swag. But we want to get our fans.
The t-shirts are so cute.
The t-shirts are adorable. Like, oh my God, and the mugs are adorable.
Yes.
So we want to get the word out to get people to buy. So I'll write you a big old check on Monday. So towards that end, give me an idea of what kind of an impact a $200 to $300 donation would have on Beyond the Fight Initiative.
Well, we do a lot with very little because we're a small organization. There's only 5 of us volunteers. And so we're all very committed. And we have great relationships with the community and our vet and so on and so forth. So $200 to $300 would allow us to bring another dog into rescue and get them fully vetted.
Excellent.
So it would save the life of an entire dog.
That's excellent. Well, let's do that, Ashley. Let's get the word out and get people to buy bikes. I want to write you a big old check and save one of those precious dogs.
And I want you to send me a big old check so I can pray that I can rescue one of these precious dogs.
Okay. All right. Well, fingers crossed that we do a great job and you have a wonderful weekend. And I hope to send you a nice check on Monday.
Thank you so much, Claudia. I appreciate you guys so much.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We appreciate everything you do for those animals in really desperate need. So thank you, Ashley, and everybody at Beyond the Fight for everything you do.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Have a good Thursday.